Hello, everybody. It's me, Jeremy Senpai, and it is so hard to believe that in less than 1 week's time, Season 3 of The Owl House will be premiering. And this will be kind of the last, video before then. I mean, I do have more Owl House content planned. This is just kind of the last one before the premiere. And for this one, we're going to be doing something a bit different, a bit more fun. This is going to be a bit more casual. My hair's a bit wet because I just got out of the shower. But interesting fact, and kind of obvious, the Owl House took a lot of inspiration from the Harry Potter book and movie series, and Dana Terrace has parodied that a lot throughout the show. I mean, we've got the different classes that include potion and beastkeeping. We've got a sorting hat. We've got Grudge and Flyer Derby, which is basically Quidditch. So I thought I'd do something kind of fun. I would take the Owl House characters that we best know, the best recurring, the ones we've known, and we would see what Hogwarts houses they'd be sorted into. Now, I just want to point out that this is basically a fun video. It's not supposed to be taken real seriously. I mean, if these are just my opinions too, by the way. If there's like somebody that you think should have been in a different house, then feel free to tell me down below. I am open. Alright, let's get started. Alright, here we have the different houses right here, and we're gonna start with our girl Luz right here. And you know what? Luz, I'm putting her in Gryffindor because she is brave, she is selfless, and she even has a bit of a hero complex just like Harry Potter does. So she is a Gryffindor through and through. And next we move on to Mama Ida. Ida is a Slytherin because she's very cunning, she can even be manipulative but in the right ways, and she does value self-preservation, but not just for herself, but for Luz and King and everyone else. So, and given the fact that Ida does get by on her wits, she would definitely make a great Slytherin, she would. Alright, now we move on to our favorite Titan in training, Junior Titan, King. And King is a Hufflepuff because King is very loyal, he's very caring, and he cares about his family, and that care has even spread to other characters too, like Lilith and Gus and Willow and Amity. So I think that King, despite all his gruffness, he definitely makes a good Hufflepuff. Oh, and before anyone mentions it, yeah, for some reason I have Mr. X right here. I'm using this picture of Mr. X for a different video. It just kind of ended up here by accident, so just ignore him, okay? Next up is Hooty. Hooty is a Hufflepuff. Because, well, Hooty may be a bit annoying, he may get under everyone's nerves, but be honest, Hooty is caring. Hooty literally sticks his neck out for everybody else. I mean, he got Luz and Amity together, he helped King find out about himself, he helped Harpy Ida come about. So yeah, Hooty loves and cares for his family, and even everyone else. So Hooty is and especially Lilith too. So Hooty is a Hufflepuff. And next we have Amity. And you know, if Amity never changed her ways, I totally would have put her in Slytherin. Because she embodied a lot of those qualities. I even kind of made a joke that she was kind of like Draco Malfoy when she was getting started. But no, the current Amity, the Amity that we love, is a Ravenclaw. Because Amity is very smart. She's very witty. She was top of her class. I don't know if she still is by this point. But Amity is a Ravenclaw. Because she is intelligent, and you know what? She's a bookworm too. And just like with Hermione Granger, I actually did briefly consider putting Luz in Ravenclaw, but no, she's definitely much more of a Gryffindor than she is a Ravenclaw. For our next one, we have our illusion boy, Augustus. And he is a Ravenclaw too, because Gus is very intelligent. He's very smart. I mean, he knows a whole bunch of humans, a whole bunch about the human world and human stuff, and he can even use his illusion magic in smart ways too, like what we saw at the graveyard. So, Gus is very smart. I think in beginning when he was introduced as a child prodigy. So, like I said, Gus is a Ravenclaw. And next up, we move on to Plant Girl Willow. And our no longer half a witch is a Hufflepuff. Because Willow is very loyal, she's very kind and caring. She's always there for her friends. She's there for Gus. Now, when we first saw them together when they were little, she's always been there for Luz, and she has also been there for Amity after they patched things up. So, Willow is a Hufflepuff. She's loyal and kind and caring towards everyone. And now we move on to Lulu. Lilith is a Slytherin. I almost tempted on putting her in Ravenclaw, but Lilith is she's very smart, just like her sister, but she can also be pretty cunning, and she was very ambitious too, because granted, she didn't mean for Ida to be cursed forever, but she did curse Ida in order to get ahead, so she does show ambition. She does show cunning, and she could even be a little bit manipulative too, but in the right ways. So Lilith would definitely make the cut as a Slytherin. But if it makes you all feel better, not a bad Slytherin, there are good Slytherins too, but a close second definitely would have been Ravenclaw. And now we move on to Edric. And Edric would definitely be a Ravenclaw too, because Edric is very smart. We've seen him be very smart, especially when we saw him combine different magics together, like illusion, potion, and beastkeeping, and he is very smart when it comes to using his magic in different ways. So, you know what? Edric would make the cut as a Ravenclaw. And now we move on to twin sister Emmerich. And Emmerich, now she would make the cut as a Hufflepuff, because she did learn healing magic too. We saw her in the Hexside battle, where she was healing Skara and Viney. So, I'd like to think that, and she's also been a very loyal, loving sister towards Amity. So, Emra is a Hufflepuff. She's loving and caring and sweet. And now we move on to Basha. Basha, I'm a little disappointed with. I wish we got to see more of her. And you know what? I will make a video about her at some point because she kind of deserves it. But Basha is a Slytherin because she's very elitist. She's very manipulative and brash. She is Draco Malfoy by this point. I made jokes about how Amity was, but yeah, Basha at this point with no redemption arc, she's basically Draco Malfoy. And now we move on to Skara. Our Bard girl definitely deserves better. She deserves more screen time. So I'm putting her in Ravenclaw. Because Skara, we saw how intelligent she is, especially when she joined Willow's Flyer Derby team. She was looking up different stats, different statistics on how they could get through the game. So Skara is a Ravenclaw. She is very intelligent. She's very strong in her own right. Wow. There's not a lot of Gryffindors, are there? But I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. And now we move on to Viney. And Viney is a Hufflepuff. I went ahead and put her right next to her favorite ship right here. Wink, wink. But Viney is definitely a Hufflepuff, because she decided to take up beastkeeping and healing. And she definitely has some Hagrid and Newt Scamander vibes about her, so I'd like to think that Viney at her core is very kind and caring. Okay, now we move on to Jerbo, and he is a Ravenclaw. Wow, my house, Ravenclaw, is getting a lot of representation today. Because Jerbo, I mean, come on, this guy combined Abomination and Plant Magic. That right there was cool during the Hexside battle. So he's shown to be very creative and very intelligent. He deserves it. And now we move on to Barkus. And Barkus actually wanted to take up Oracle, I think, along with Potion. So I'm just going to put him in Ravenclaw, because that's kind of a safe bet. He's shown to be very smart and creative too, so you know what, he gets the jab there. Now we move on to Principal Bump. And you know what? He is a Gryffindor. We've seen Principal Bump be brave in multiple different scenarios. We saw him stand up to Head Witch Adrian. We saw him fight against the Emperor's Coven. We've always seen him put the kids first. And I think that takes a lot of bravery. So you know what? Bump, you, my dude, are a Gryffindor. You have earned it. And now we move on to Emperor Bellos, also known as Philip Wibbane. And you know what? He is definitely a Slytherin. Because he is manipulative, he is cunning, he is ambitious. This guy devoted centuries of his life to wanting to wipe out the entire witch population, and he did this by manipulating them, creating the coven system. So he's a Slytherin. Don't convince me otherwise. And now we move on to our favorite Grimwalker, Hunter. Hey, you know what? Hunter, he's a Gryffindor too, because we've seen plenty of scenarios where he has been brave and where he's been brave. We saw him fight against Luz and Ida and Amity, and we've even seen him be brave when protecting Luz and Willow and the rest of his friends against Darius and against Bellos. So Hunter is a Gryffindor. He is brave, and he has stuck his neck out for his new friends and family multiple times. Now we move on to Kikimora, and you know what? She is Slytherin. Because Kiki is shown to be very manipulative, she's shown to be very self-centered, and she cares more about her career in the Emperor's Coven than anything else. She was perfectly willing to kill Hunter, kill Amity, so all she cares about is getting to the top. So, she's a Slytherin. And now we move on to Rain Whispers. And you know what? Our favorite Bard Witch, they are a Gryffindor. Because, well, Rain is shown to be incredibly brave. They really are. I mean, come on, they're undercover for the rebellion in the Emperor's Coven. They started the bats and later the cats, and they did all this just to keep Ida and her family safe. So, Rain is a Gryffindor. They are very brave. They kind of have a bit of a hero complex here and there. So Rain would definitely make the cut as a Gryffindor under the red and gold. And now we move on to Darius. And Darius, I think, is more of a Hufflepuff. I briefly considered him for Ravenclaw or for Slytherin, but I think he makes more the cut as a Hufflepuff. Because even though he's a bit sassy, he's a bit mouthy, we've seen him care about Hunter. And we've even seen him care about Rain and Eberwolf. Heck, he stood down when he thought Eberwolf was going to get killed. So that's shown to be very kind and very caring, even though he's a bit mouthy at times. So Darius is a Hufflepuff. And heck, he was going to drop off Willow, Gus, Viney, and Skara back at Hexside. So he may talk a big game, but he cares about people. Heck, he's a rebel too, because he disagrees with what Bellos is doing. And now we move on to Eberwolf, and Eberwolf, I think, is very brave. Eberwolf would make the cut as a Gryffindor, because we've seen Eber be strong, we've seen him stand on his own 2 feet multiple times. Heck, he fought against the other covens before Darius and Ida and Rain even had their chance. So I think Eber is brave and selfless above everything else. They deserve to be in Gryffindor. Now we move on to Terra Snapdragon, who's basically an evil Perfuma or evil Willow by this point. You know, it's kind of a wasted opportunity. We never had a Willow-Terra fight. Okay, Terra is a Slytherin, because she's very cruel, she's very cunning. She and Kikimora, they're practically the Dolores Umbridge of the Owl House world. So, she deserves to be in Slytherin alongside Kikimora. She does. Because she's shown to be very cruel, very manipulative, and she's definitely not afraid to bring people down. Terra Snapdragon is a Slytherin. And now we move on to Adrian. Adrian Gray, I think. I think that's his last name, correct me if I'm wrong, but Adrian Gray of the Head Illusion Coven. And you know what? He makes a cut as a Slytherin too. Because, he was shown to be very manipulative and very intelligent when it came to wanting to trick students into joining a coven when he was introduced. and he's still on the wrong side of the fight, so for a safe bet, he's in Slytherin. I briefly considered putting him in Ravenclaw because of that, but no, he's a Slytherin. He cares more about himself than anyone else, so he deserves to be there. Camila Noceda, our queen. And you know what? She's a Hufflepuff. She is very much the mama bear of the Owl House, not unlike Molly Weasley. Because think about it, she's a loving, supportive mother towards Luz, and we basically see her adopt V, and she's adopted Amity, Gus, Willow, and Hunter. So, Camila Nocea, you are loving and caring, Mama Bear. You are a Hufflepuff. Okay, next up is V, and V is a Gryffindor, because we've seen V be brave. V, she may be a bit scared at times, but she's shown to be brave on multiple occasions too. She went to the human world not knowing what it was like. She helped Luz out to the best of her ability, and I know that we're going to see more of her bravery all throughout Season 3 with these last 3 specials. So V is a Gryffindor. Okay, next up is Alador. Alador is a Ravenclaw because, well, he's so intelligent. In fact, most of the Blight Abomination stuff, inventions came from him. He's like the chief engineer, mechanic. So Alador is very intelligent. He's very creative. So Alador makes the cut under the blue and bronze. Okay, now we move on to Odalia. And one guess where she's going. She's a Slytherin. Come on, this bitch, she was willing to put her kids to work for her. She cares about nothing but getting to the top. She deserves to be here. Okay, now we move on to Steve, and he's a Hufflepuff. He was shown to be incredibly caring and loving, especially towards King. So, and Steve has kind of been a bit of a welcome presence throughout the Owl House. He's like, oh, there's Steve. I wonder what he's going to say today. So, you know what, Steve? You are loving and caring and kind. You are one of our favorite rebels. You deserve to be in Hufflepuff. Bartholomew. Okay, full disclosure, I almost forgot about this kid. But, you know what? I'm going to put him in Slytherin. Because he did start out as a bully, kind of here and there, very self-preservation. So, and sadly we didn't see much more of him in Season 2. He did have a bit of a turnaround with the looking through the mirror glass and the Labyrinth Runner episodes. So we got to see a bit of a turnaround for him, but he can still be a bit mean-spirited. And he can be a little ambitious at times, so he is definitely a Slytherin. Alright, now we move on to Gwen. I briefly did consider including Dale on this list, but we haven't seen a lot of him. So, sorry Dale, you were great, you really were, but I wish that we got to see more of you. But if Dale was here, upon first impression, I'd probably put him in Hufflepuff. Okay, now, when it comes to Gwen, she is a Gryffindor. This woman devoted 20 years of her life going on crazy adventures to try and heal Ida. So she's shown to be very brave and selfless, especially when it comes to her family. So, Gwen, you are a Gryffindor. Okay, now the Collector. Yeah, the only other one here is Mr. X, but ignore him like I said. The Collector. We don't know much about them. I honestly have no idea where to put them. So, you know what? I'm just gonna leave the Collector kind of ambiguous. Sorry, I honestly don't know where to put them. We don't know much about them. We don't know if they're brave, if they're caring, intelligent, or if they're ambitious. The Collector is an anomaly. I honestly don't know, so if any of you have any ideas, tell me down below. I'm open. Okay, and there we have it. I think that was about 32, 33 characters from the Owl House. all of them sorted into a Hogwarts house. And like I said, this is just kind of my opinion. This is basically for fun. If there's a specific character that you think should have been in a different house, then feel free to tell me down below. I am open to anything. And like the rest of you, I can't wait for the premiere of Season 3 next Saturday. And I do hope that you all enjoy your day. This is Jeremy Senpai signing out. If you like what you saw, feel free to hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff for new uploads every weekend. This is Jeremy Senpai, sign off.